Hey guys, this is my first project back post-injury, and I thought it would be super cool to create something to support my newest hobby, which is gardening. So I thought I'd create a beginner-friendly gardening toolbox. Let's go. I got my 1 by 6 by 6 board, which is actually 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 inches by 6 feet. I cut all my pieces down to size. There were only 6 pieces in this project. Once my pieces were cut, I used a paddle bit attachment to drill the holes into the 2 side pieces. It was kind of tough holding on to the drill. My strength was a little wonky on this one, but we did it. I used the pivot point on my square to create the triangle shape at the top of the 2 sides. So what I'm doing here is measuring out and using the pivot point to turn the square so that I will have sides that are the same size and straight lines. After I drilled the holes on both of the side pieces, I used my miter saw to create the triangle tops. The laser on the wood is called the kerf, and the kerf basically is the width of the blade itself. So when you're marking your wood to cut, you always want to cut to the outside of your line so that it accounts for the width of the blade. No magic here, I just used a sanding block to sand all of the pieces, and of course you could use an electric sander to make it go faster. I used wood glue and clamps before using the screws to put everything in place permanently. After I drilled my pilot holes, I used 1.5 inch wood screws to hold the pieces together. So as you can see, assembly is pretty simple. I'm already 4 pieces in, and there are only 6 pieces in the project total. I used my square to measure 1.5 inches from the bottom because I wanted to make sure I kept a gap so that any dirt or debris could fall out of the sides of the bottom of the caddy. I used wood glue and screws to secure the side panels. And then I used my level to make sure that the side panels were even. Next, I fed the 3/4 inch dowel into the holes, and then I used my handsaw to cut off the excess. You definitely could have cut that with the initial cuts using the miter saw. And voila, we are complete. You can see all the pieces are securely together. We have that gap in the bottom to allow the dirt and debris to fall through. The handle is working well. And if I had to give myself a grade for this project, I would definitely say it's a B plus, or A minus if you will. But I am happy with the final result, and I know I'm going to get a lot of use from it. I decided to stain mine as a finish, but you could definitely just use some polyurethane on that bare wood and it would look amazing as well. I couldn't decide which of the 2 stains I wanted, but I ended up choosing the darker stain for a more rustic look. So here's my finished product, guys. I have all of my gardening tools in here, my neem oil to keep the bugs away, and just to show you a little bit of my garden.